Hello and welcome to Aerospace. Thanks for watching our virtual curriculum night. It's unfortunate we can't be doing this in person, but again, thanks for taking the time to watch. So my name is Jessica Warnick and I want to tell you all about Aerospace. So feel free to contact me with any questions. Best way is my email, jessica.warnick@mercerislandschools.org. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Virginia, and then I went to a small liberal arts college in upstate New York called Union College, and I got my bachelor's in geology. And then I went back to Virginia. I got my master's in science teaching at UVA. Go Hoos! And this is my 12th year teaching. I taught 5 years in Virginia, and this is my 6th year at IMS. You can see some pictures of my family. We tried to stay active this summer, did some paddle boarding, went on some hikes. I have a 4-year-old daughter and a 4-month-old son, so we're busy. So a little bit about our class, about aerospace. So our focus, our goals, we want to learn about the science of flight through project-based experiences. We want to focus on engineering practices so that students can improve their designs, and then we want to apply these to our understanding of advancements in the history of human flight. So topics that we cover. We have already talked a little bit about careers in aerospace, and that'll come up throughout the course. We'll talk about history of aerospace, so we really get a sense of how far we've come. We'll talk about properties of air. When we talk about parachutes, we get into air resistance and gravity and how those balance out. We'll talk about hot air balloons. We get into density and how density can help something so big float in air. We'll talk about airplanes. With airplanes, we start to talk about the four forces, and then we get into rockets. We wrap up the trimester with rockets, and we start to get into Newton's laws a little bit here. So instructional strategies, will focus on student exploration. There's a strong project-based component. So students are going to be designing, they're going to be building, they're going to be testing their own flying objects. And that building, that testing, it may happen, on their own time, the asynchronous time, or it might happen during class. There are times when they really benefit from seeing each other build and being able to talk to one another about what they're building, what ideas someone else has. So that might happen in either of those times. And then students are going to discuss their collected data in order to draw conclusions. And so during our Zoom time, we'll definitely be having some great group conversations, discussions about the data. In terms of guided learning tasks, students are going to use the resources on their week at a glance to explore the related science. And so they're going to process and they're going to practice with this information during our class meetings, during those Zoom meetings. Materials needed. So they'll need a charged device, iPad or laptop, whatever they happen to be using. There's no textbook, so we don't have to worry about that. If they ever need additional resources, it will always be linked on the week at a glance. For projects and activities, I'm going to post, and I have been posting materials that they need on the week at a glance. There's a little section, and I'll show you in a moment. And we'll talk about those on the Monday Zoom session. It's really important to recognize that you shouldn't have to go out and buy anything. You can, but you should be able to they should be able to make use of common household items. I'll provide lots of options, so they shouldn't feel like they have to go buy something. And if they're stressed about it, you can have them message me and I can talk them through some options that maybe you do have at home. So the grading policy. This class is going to use traditional grading. It'll be based on total points. You can see the letter marks and the percentage breakdown, and you'll see 3 categories that will count towards their total score. So there's a category of classwork, homework. You'll see quizzes, and we'll have projects as well. Communication platforms. So we utilize 2. We use Schoology, and their students will find their week at a glance every Monday morning. It will be posted there. I post assignment due dates on Schoology, also on the week at a glance. So 2 places, hopefully they can't miss it. And I'll also give them feedback on Schoology when it's appropriate. Skyward is really the place for grades, so I do my best to update grades weekly, if not more frequent. Percentages are based on the total points earned out of the total points possible. And you'll also see in Skyward an engagement score. So this is a quick piece of feedback for you. You'll see a score of 1 to 3. A 1 indicates that your child is struggling to engage. So maybe they're distracted by their phone, or maybe they're not building while the rest of the class is building. So they're struggling to engage with whatever we're doing. A 3 is they're doing great. They're chatting with their classmates. They're building. They're doing whatever activity they're expected to do. So you'll see that as a brief, quick kind of snapshot. Organization of work. So probably the easiest with our digital learning, our virtual learning, is going digital, keeping everything in a Google Drive folder, which will help them set up. If they're totally keen on paper, sure, they can print it out. They can go that old school paper and pencil route. There's nothing wrong with that. They would need to take a photo and submit their work, but that's great too. So they can pick which option they would like. Here's the week at a glance. So you can see the class Zoom is linked right up here. Office hours are linked here. Materials, this is the list. If they need something for the week, it will be listed. Learning targets, they can kind of figure out like, all right, what am I supposed to end this week having learned? And then you can see what we're going to do in each Zoom session and each task. All they need to do for the task is to click on the blue link, complete it, and submit per the directions in the share your learning column. So it tells them exactly where to submit to. All right, so I really thank you for taking the time to listen to Aerospace. I'm super excited to see what they build this year. Even though it's a little modified, we're still going to have a lot of fun with it. So again, please reach out if you have any questions, jessica.warnick@mercerislandschools.org. Thank you. Have a great night.